Good morning and welcome. This week I'm going to be sharing with you from the Sermon on the Mount where Jesus talks about adultery and lust. But I want to start this week off by asking you a question. Have you ever felt really overconfident about something, really sure of yourself, and then made to look foolish? I remember sixth grade. I'm a shy kid in a new school and living with my grandfather. And my grandfather was a bookkeeper, so, I figured he knew math pretty well. And I asked him to help me with my homework, my algebra homework. And so we worked on it for a few hours, and I was super confident about the answers that we came up with. Well, the next day at school, I wanted to, show how much I knew. And the teacher asked, for us to raise our hands. Who had the answer to problem number 1? My hand shot up and I was going to be super proud and I was going to make him super proud of me and I was going to look just amazing in front of this class. So I give him my answer and I was wrong. Thought, okay, that's a one-off. No big deal. Question number 2, who has the right answer? Reuben in the back corner shoots his hand up again. Wrong again. My grandfather helped me get every answer wrong. I was upset, I was embarrassed, and I, didn't let him help me for my homework for a significant amount of time. But I use that story to say, we're looking at, last week we looked at murder. This week we're looking at adultery. And I think a lot of us and the people there in that crowd, when Jesus said, you've heard it said, that you shall not commit adultery. Most of us on this video, could probably pretty confidently say, I've never cheated on my wife. And I've never cheated on my wife, Lily. I've never killed anybody. But Jesus says, but if you have looked at a woman with lustful intent, you have already committed adultery with her in your heart. That had to be shocking, to say, well, I'm confident that my outward actions didn't break the moral law, didn't break any of the 10 commandments, this one being the 7th commandment of thou shalt not commit adultery. But Jesus is saying it's not about your outward action. It's not the act of committing that sin. Where the sin begins and where we can find ourselves in trouble, according to Jesus, is when it begins in our heart. What's going on inside of us? Where are our minds going? This is like the story of Aaron Ralston that I told, the hiker who got his arm caught in a boulder. This is a matter of life and death. This is a matter of sin that results in death, and the punishment of it is death. We're in a battle, and what we have to learn in any battle is, what is our enemy? And our enemy in this battle is sin that starts in our hearts. So this week, what I'd love to do is just kind of sit with that and say, what are we willing to do to win this battle for our soul, which is a battle of life or death, which Jesus gave his life for us to be able to win this battle that he is, we know has already won. However, we're still in this fight and, we can't be overconfident in it. We have to really look at what's going on in our hearts and how do we make the change to truly repent. We'll talk about it this week. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.